Hello everyone, welcome back to this week's video. This week's is a little different. It's not really a tutorial, it's more about watching me lurch from one failed attempt to get this picture to work to another and seeing what happens over the course of the time and how I managed to sort of rescue it. So if you fancy watching me struggling through a picture, this is the one to watch. I did always say that I would share my successes and my fails for you, and at this moment for me this is a fail, but you can let me know in the comments what you think as we go along, and if there's any time this picture looks like it's good to you, let me know, because there are various iterations of it and things change, so I'll be fascinated to see what your thoughts are. So do let me know in the comments below. Otherwise we'll carry on and watch this and I'll explain my feelings and thoughts as we go along. So this was the original drawing, obviously, which isn't, I haven't bothered to include it in the description box because why would you want it? So anyway, so I started off, I just did the sky in my normal way, mixing some blue and some white. And then I wanted to put some distant hills in, which is why I'm mixing this green with some white as well, because I wanted it, you know, like I do, I wanted them soft and in the background. So this is what I'm doing to start with. I've edited this down because this picture should have taken me maximum 10 hours to do, and it took me 3 days. It and I were not friends at any point in this, but you'll see why. So anyway, so I started with the distant hill, and then I was putting some shading in because I'm going to put some purpley colours in the background, and it's going to be trees and things. So at the moment I'm just working on doing this. I was quite excited to start this because I really wanted to do the little house. I do like doing brickwork and things, as you know if you've watched my other videos. So this is what I was looking forward to doing. So at this moment then I am just putting in some darker colours, and these dark blobs in the background, purpley and that, are going to represent very distant trees at the moment. So so it goes through lots of different things. So I have edited it so that you're not sitting through each individual whole thing. I've just left in the parts that you might find interesting, or that I can explain why I changed my mind. Oh yes, the purple thumbnail. I'm very sorry it's a purple thumbnail. My daughter wanted her hair dyed black and purple, and so I was so careful to protect all my arms and everything, and my thumbnail punctured the glove. So I'm sorry about that, but you'll see how long this took because that purple gets washed away quite a lot by the end of it. So anyway, so I'm doing my usual thing with the greens now. I'm putting in more of this green and making it more green in colour, you know, brighter as we go along, so that the fills start to come forward for me. But the other weird thing with this picture, and I don't know whether it was just me over the, you know, while I was doing this, but normally when I do green in fields and things like that, the greens work, and yet I'm using the same greens, and I struggled and struggled to get it to look right. All the way through this picture I've actually really struggled to get these greens to work right, and yet I don't know why, because any other time they go just fine. And it might even just be me. You might look at this and think, no, they're fine. But for whatever reason, for this picture, it just all fell off. But so I'm doing my normal thing. It just nothing seemed to quite work for me. So at this moment, the bit I'm working on now, that's supposed to be some more like distant hills and things behind the house. So I do my normal thing. I'm working from the back of the picture forward, so each layer goes on top of the last one in effect. So I wanted to get that done so that I could put the house in, because I was quite keen to get to the house. And this here again would be the field that's much closer. I say field, but it's just rolling hills really. I'm just doing my usual thing of layering the greens over. I'm desperately trying to get it to look more like something. This is supposed to be a tree. Well, this is the dark base background colour of trees. And I'm doing my usual thing with there as well. I'm just putting in the darker colours. Then I will go and highlight over them a bit. And my light source is coming from the right of the picture. So all the shadows will go towards the left. And I'm now putting in, I don't know what I was thinking, I'm putting in a hedge. I actually think it would have been nicer as a wall. And this is just another little hedge. So I've left these parts in because if you haven't, if you're not sure on needle felting, this is all good stuff from the technique point of view and things. So this is where it all started to go wrong. And I've put this tree in the way I normally do a tree. So I start with my dark brown and build my tree up from there. So up to this point it's been okay, but I say from here on it and we fell out. So my first hint that I should have stopped was when I chopped the top of the tree off. It didn't feel right at the time, so I lopped the top off and I thought, no worries, I'll go and put some branches back on it in a moment. But I really should have taken the hint. And the hint is not that even in the end that the tree was bad. It looks a bit weird at the moment, but obviously it's got to have its leaves and things on. So I'm doing my usual, I've decided where my light source is going to come from and I'm darkening down the sides it wouldn't get to. And here obviously I'm lightening up the side where the light would actually be catching it. Now I want you to, it doesn't occur to me at this point in the picture, but I want you to have a look now when it comes back onto the screen. Sorry if you can hear any noises, it's everybody's home today. That the tree is just not in proportion with the house. Now at this point I'm not thinking about it. I like doing trees, so I'm quite now engrossed in making a nice tree, or the best I can. So I'm not looking at the rest of the picture. Not really. I'm concentrating on this tree. But if I point it to you now, you can see that I'm clearly going to come up against a thing in a minute that tree is too big next to the house. The proportions are all wrong, in my eyes anyway. And but I had got as far as actually filling. I hadn't done the whole house, but I'd blocked in the colours of the house before I realised that the tree and the house didn't work together. But if you keep that in mind as you're watching, you'll see what I mean every time you get to see the tree and the house together. Because I'm quite happily still just building my tree. I did even go into the tree and try narrowing down the trunk a bit to try and make it look thinner, so maybe I thought that would make it look smaller in a way. But this is a good shot if I can get my hands out of the way where you can see what I mean. I just thought, it could just be me, I just thought the tree was not the right proportions to go with that little house. So, having done that, I got rid of the house and I decided, no, okay, well, it's not all lost yet because I do like the tree. I'll turn it into a little railway tunnel. So I thought that would be nice. I like doing brickwork still. It's still bricks, so I'll do a little railway tunnel, and then what I might do is, so that I can add a pop of colour to the picture, I'll have the front end or the back end of a train coming out of the tunnel. And I thought that'll look lovely. Obviously I'm pausing now because that didn't look lovely. And sadly, because I didn't learn my lesson the first time round, it's for exactly the same reasons. I built this little tunnel and I went to put a train in it, or a bit of a train in it. Looking at it, I was visualising the train, and I suddenly realised that the only way that that would work is if it was a miniature railway line because the tunnel was too small, and for a train, the tunnel was too small for a train, and if I'd put a train in, it would have looked ridiculous up against the tree. The proportions were still wrong, which as I build this, you'll be able to look and again, let me know what you think in the comments. I think it was wrong. So here, this is handy for you, because what I'm doing here is I'm picking out of my scrap wall pile bits of colours to make the stonework for the bridge. So I've just mushed them all together as I do, and just all sorts, and then I'm just going to pull little bits off, don't care what bit, and I'm going to build the bricks on my tunnel. But as you can see, when I get my hand away, if you think about a train coming out of that tunnel, it's just wrong. It's still just, and then this is the battle I was having. It took me days. I just couldn't, and I don't know why, because I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. But I was seriously having an off couple of days with this one. You see what I mean? It's just too small. There's no way I could have had a train come out of that. You can probably hear the frustration of it all still in my voice. And if you look in the background, where my hand is, where I'm needle felting, just behind that, I turned that clump of trees into an extra bit of tunnel, so it would look like the train could come through the tunnel at the back, and then round some track, and then through this tunnel. So that ends up having like a black hole in it, as you can just see there, to make this extra tunnel. My poor family, I kept holding the picture up to people going, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? I can't see. What's wrong with it? And my husband, who's not artistic on any level, was going, I don't know. Bless his heart. And the problem with that was every time I asked someone, they came up with a different thing. So there was nothing conclusive that I could work with. So anyway, still at this point, I hadn't thought about the fact that the tunnel was too small, and I'm now laying in the sort of gravelly section that you would put the tracks onto. And it was after this when because what I do is I take my picture and I pin it up for a little bit and look at it, and then I realised that no, that wasn't going to work either. And the other thing I was struggling with as well is there just seemed to be so much green in the picture, and I just couldn't get, that just didn't feel right. I don't know if it was just this picture, because obviously I don't normally have quite so much trouble. But like a true little trooper, I carried on, keeping going. Because if you look at it now, there's just so much green, and I have no idea why, but I could not get that. I like a bit of contrast and things, and it didn't seem to matter what greens or how I mixed them, but I threw at it. It just didn't seem to make any difference. Right, so at this point I've given up on the train idea, because that's for reasons I've said to you, and I've decided now I'm going to have a bank, so if you went over this bit you'd go down the bank. And that's what I'm building now, is a bank, because I've decided, okay, I give up. I'm going to have something different as a focal point on that side. And I decided to put in some sheep. Now, while it's blank like this, have a look at the picture, because this is another thing that got me. I have two pictures there. I've split my picture into one picture of a bridge, or a tunnel, sorry, and a picture of a tree. So it's completely split down the middle, and your eyes don't know whether the focal point's the tunnel or the tree. So my brain was fighting with that as well. So I thought, never mind, I'm still trying here, never mind, I'll put some sheep in, and I'll have the sheep go across the picture, because that way it'll tie the two sides together. I do hope you're getting where I'm coming with this. So anyway, so that's what I did next. So I thought, I've not really done sheep particularly like this, but I thought I'll have a go at some sheep, and I'll plonk some sheep in, and that will make the picture better. So let's see what happens, shall we? To be honest, I wasn't unhappy with the sheep. I think the sheep did add something to it. Whether they look absolutely like sheep's, up for debate, but sheep's, whether they absolutely look like sheep, well, is another thing. But I was quite happy with them, because I thought they did bring something to the picture. So then I thought, well, okay, I still need something more. It's still not working, and so I decided I would have a pathway, because I thought perhaps it's that you feel like there's nothing leading you into the picture. So I thought I'll put in a bit of a pathway, at least that way you can get between the two focal point things. So this is what I'm doing now, I'm adding some of that. And you'll notice that the tunnel in the background for the other, the other tunnels, that's now gone. And all the trees from that have now gone. So I'm building a bit of a path here. Still on the sheep. To say, my thought was that the sheep would tie the picture together, but that didn't really work either. And having got a tunnel, I needed to do something with it, so I thought I'll use it, that the sheep use it as a shelter, or they've wandered through that from somewhere else. And then I'm just putting my usual thing at the front with just some grass texture, because I'm still fighting with the greens here. So as far as leading you into the picture, I think the little path does it, and the sheep do it a bit, because I've put some sheep in the foreground and I've carried them on back through to the distance. But it's still not right. It's completely missing something. It's completely something's wrong with it still, in my eyes anyway. So then I thought, well, okay, it's the distant hills. I'll soften those up a bit more, and we'll get rid of some of that, so perhaps it's not dragging your eyes through it, but in a bad way. And that yellow shouldn't have gone there. It's still, the whole thing is just, I don't know. I think my artistic side left the building for this couple of days. So here I'm trying to put in some extra contrast in lights and shadows, because I thought maybe that'll help. And magically, the tree's gone. Something had to go. It was the tree or the tunnel, and I decided I liked the bricks and I didn't like the tree so much. So the tree went, which I think actually helped immensely. I think it opened up the picture, and I think I could have got rid of either thing and it would have done the same thing, but it's much more airy. It looks much nicer now, I think. I hope you agree. Again, let me know in the comments, at what point you think the picture was okay. And so now I'm trying to, because I have this path, I now want to have it so it leads you in a little bit more to the picture. And I had worked a little bit more on trying to get the grass contrasts and things, but it's still... And of course at this point I haven't got anything that started the original sketch. This is a whole different picture now. Looking at it now I'm away from it at this point, I think this isn't too bad. I probably could have left it here, but I'd got myself into such a tizzy over this over this darn picture that I went and did one more thing to it in a minute. So now the background mountain's gone. I hope you're keeping up with this. The background mountain has now gone because I still wanted to open the picture up a bit more. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just putting in some rocks and bits and bobs just to give some interest around it. I still don't think it's quite right. I'm not actually going to throw it away. I've put it in the naughty box and it's going to sit there for a while, I can tell you. But I will at some point revisit it, maybe when it's not frustrating me so much, and see if I can rescue it into something better at some point. Because I don't think it's an all hope is lost picture. I think it just, 3 days of staring at it and nothing seemed to work just frustrated me. and I just couldn't, it didn't seem to matter what I did with it, I couldn't get it right. But I think with fresh eyes later on, I won't feel so bad about it. So this is just a little bit of pinky colour mixed with some brown. I thought maybe a bit of colour on the picture would help break up the green a bit. I tried a little tree, a little just something there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this journey through this picture with me. If you did, please don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe. And I do now have a Patreon if anybody would like to take a look at that as well. And I will see you on the next one, which I'm hoping won't go quite so badly. Bye for now.